So let me show you a quick diagram about one of the, I guess, it's a pretty standard workflow for news agencies in terms of how we actually acquire content or how third parties or our partners contribute content to us as well. In most cases, they either contribute potentially via FTP or they use our web form, log in with their MFA device, upload their videos, all of that capability is actually containerized. Or potentially they would have an RSS website which we actually crawl or constantly monitor whether they have some new content that we could potentially serve out through our platform. So once we acquire their video content and text that, helping that particular video to be served out, we obviously want to standardize on how we store that metadata as well. So most news actually arrive within like XML format. So obviously we want to turn it into something that's easier to store, such as JSON. And once we have that transformation done by Lambda and we have the video, we just put that onto S3. And after that, it's all basically data-driven, right? And most of it is also serverless, where we can do that. So once we have the content on S3, that kicks off a Lambda function that triggers like a workflow for step function, and we start to do the video processing against the content to make it ready and available to be served out across the globe. But how do we serve it out across the globe? Well, so we didn't just migrate our storage backend, we also migrated our content distribution network, and we moved completely over to using CloudFront. So for us, S3 and CloudFront really goes hand in hand, but it was just so ridiculous how much easier it was to set up, for example, CloudFront compared to like, going to some of these third parties and set up a CDN through them. I literally took a couple of minutes to set up a content distribution network and make your content accessible globally. But it wasn't just the fact that it was super easy to set up. It was also so much more scalable. It was so much more performant as well. The throughput just significantly got better once we moved over to use S3 and CloudFront. So for us, it really goes hand in hand. I guess one thing to point out with CloudFront as well, it's super cheap, but if you do have a consistent workload and you know exactly how much content your customer is going to consume, pay attention to potentially opt into like a reserved capacity option. That can save a lot of money for you. But back to S3. So we have seen a good overview on the storage classes as well. And as I mentioned, we have breaking news and we have archive news. And some of these patterns actually perfectly aligns with the storage classes that AWS offers. So for example, the infrequent storage class and the Glacier storage class saved a ton of money for us because it aligns perfectly with our breaking news coverage.